Hey folks, how's it going? Hope you're all doing well. First of all, I'm sorry my voice is already bad, but I'm a little bit sick, so it's even worse today. But anyway, today we are going to talk about facades, how to write your own facades. And facades themselves are a little bit enigmatic. Some people have some weird thoughts about it, mostly because they don't understand how they work. So we are going to figure this out today. Before I begin the lesson, I also want to tell you that TDD with Laravel is on a Black Friday sale. So if you want to grab it with a almost 50% discount, so you can grab it for less than 80 bucks. Now is the time. The link's on the description. If you want to learn test-driven development, this is a great opportunity. If you're from a country with a lower GDP like I'm from Brazil, you can get an even bigger discount. But anyway, let's move into the video. So on TDD with Laravel's website, I have this purchasing power parity class that just gets the PPP data for a country. That's what I use to figure out how much discount I should give for someone visiting the website. And the way I usually call it is like this. So I instantiate the class and I call the method. And if we run it, we get some data back. Now, if we were to turn this into a facade, let's say I wanted to do PPP for country. How would I do this? Well, it's really simple. The first thing that you gotta understand about facades is that they just get something from the container. So if we look, for instance, into the bus facade, you can see that we have this get facade assessor method, and it returns a string, and the string is the fully qualified namespace for a class. But it doesn't have to be. You can return a simple string. So let's see. This is the namespace. If we go here and we do app and passing that namespace, and this is how you get something from the container. If you want to learn more about the container, I have a video about it. Check it on the channel. You can see that we get an instance of dispatcher. And that's basically what the facade is doing. When we call a method from the facade, it actually proxies the call to this class. So this method is what finds what the facade refers to. If we go and do, let's take a look at another facade. Let's take a look at the off facade. Or let's take a look at the, let's take a look at the cache facade. So it returns cache. Right now, it's a simple string. So if we go here and do app cache, we get a cache manager. Anyway, let's move on. So how do we create a facade for this? Well, the first thing that we got to do is register this in the container. So if we go to, let's say, app service provider, so we can go to the app service provider and we can do this app. This app means the container, the application class. As I said, if you want to learn more, take a look at the container video. So we can do bind and we can say PPP, or we could even pass the namespace of the class. That's what I usually do. I usually register classes on the container with their own fully qualified namespace as a name. So we can do purchasing power parity. Let's import it. Whoops, I was supposed to import this. Let me import it. Let's import it right here, like this. Then we pass a closure with the app as an argument. And we can just say return a new instance of purchasing power parity. So now this is registered within the container. If I go here and do this, I get the class that I want. If I were to remove this, it's still gonna work, but the container is going to figure this on the fly. So if I were to call this just PPP, and that's what we're gonna do for this example, and we went here and did PPP, it's not going to work. I mean, it's going to work because we registered it. But if I comment this out and do it, it's not going to find the class. Okay, this was a bit confusing, but just to sum it up. As we were passing a fully qualified namespace here, what happens is, if we try to access a fully qualified namespace with the container, Laravel is going to first check if it exists on the container, and if it doesn't, it's going to try and resolve the class. So as we were passing an actual class, Laravel was resolving it for us. But in this case, as we were passing a string, Laravel cannot find the class because it does not exist. But on the previous example, when we were passing the fully qualified namespace without binding it to the container, the class wasn't actually registered the container. Laravel was just figuring things out for us. If you've seen my videos, you know that I usually do this. I call resolve and pass a class. It's the same as calling app. I just make the container resolve it for me. Anyway, so we've registered this in the container. Now we just gotta create our own facade. So I'm going to create a facade called PPP. I'm going to put it under facades. So ppp.php. Let's copy the bus facade. Let's copy and paste it. Let's change what we need. We need to change the namespace to app facades. We don't really want this or this or this. Let's get rid of this doc block. Let's change this to PPP. We gotta import a facade class like this. Okay. We don't want the fake method right now. We just want to make this work. So we only want the get facade accessor method. So this is what a facade class looks like. Just a class that extends the facade class, and we have this get facade accessor method. Let's change it for PPP. Okay. Now, if we go into app facades, PPP for country, PR, it works. Now, one thing that you might have seen is that on Laravel, you can usually do things like bus and call it, or cache, without passing the full namespace. And that's just an alias. So if we go to config app and we go down all the way, we're going to see that we have some aliases here. So I'm just going to add an alias for PPP. So PPP, and we just pass in the facade path like this. Really simple, right? Now, if I do PPP for country BR, it works. So a facade is just a way to proxy calls. Whenever you're calling a facade method, you're actually calling an object. It's just being resolved by the container. And one thing to notice is that facades are always singletons. If you don't know what a singleton is, check the container video. So this is something that you must be careful of. If you need to have different objects each time that you call a facade, you shouldn't use it. You should just use the container. But anyway, this is how you create your own custom facade. Let me know in the comments if you guys like this video, and feel free to give me suggestions or anything like that. I see you in the next video. Bye bye.